Hello, everyone.
Got him.
First of all, we've been hunting mosquitoes for the past hour.
Yes.
We are in Northern California, but I don't know why there is an infestation around us, and it is terrible. But
let's get an update in the field.
Yeah.
Lots of water. All right. Good to hear.
At the wrong airport. Thanks, Ollie.
All right. Yeah. There's a lot of mosquitoes, but we're just gonna kind of continue, and you might hear some, in the background, but
it's okay. It's just bugs losing their lives.
Yeah.
So just clap along. All right, guys. So as we said before, we are the Puck Buddy Podcast. With your hosts here, we have Eddie Murad, Cameron Che, also known as Billy Che. Billy Che. And myself, Bo Hendrickson. And we are here to provide you with a Week 17's insight of the fantasy hockey season. We're pretty deep in it right now.
17.
So let's hop in with some news and some injuries.
Yeah, well, we don't have any big news headlines like we did last week with all the coaching changes, but I will talk about some injuries and start off with actually a comeback. Craig Anderson, we mentioned him last week that he might be getting his first start this weekend, and he did on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah,
it happened.
And not playing since December the 5th, Anderson's returned to net after spending over 2 months helping his wife on her recovery from cancer. It really couldn't have gone better. He faced the Islanders on Saturday and stopped all 33 shots and boosted his season stats to 13-6-1 with a .927 save percentage and a 2.34 goals against average. Congrats, Craig.
Did that for his wife. He's like, this is for you, honey.
We hope that
respect, Craig.
Respect.
Hope that your wife is doing well and the treatments are going successfully. We will also give you guys an update on that. But moving on to other injuries. We talked about Malkin last time, but he missed a 7th straight game with his lower body injury, and he's still on injured reserve. He's technically considered day-to-day according to the Pittsburgh Penguins organization, but we'll keep you updated because nothing really has changed in his condition. Paul Stastny. He was out with a lower body injury on Friday, February 10th. It's considered day-to-day, but Coach, is it Yayo? Yayo. I'm going to call him Coach Yayo. Is encouraged by Stastny's recovery process over the weekend. They'll have a more complete update on him Monday morning, but keep an eye on him because at 34% owned, he could be a really great addition to your roster. He's ranked 157th on Yahoo and has 15 goals, 20 assists, 32 penalty minutes, 10 power play points, 87 shots on goal, and 40 hits on the season so far. So
not bad.
Keep an eye out for Stastny. He plays center only. However, later on could be a good pickup, especially if they make the playoffs. Okay, Sammy Vatanen, we mentioned him last time as well, but he is still out with his lower body injury that he's had since December 4th. Still hasn't been practicing with the team. On Friday, he did take to the ice for conditioning skates, but no contact or anything of that nature. Tyler Johnson of Tampa Bay. Some part of his lower body was bothering him enough for him to miss the last 2 games since Friday the 10th. The fact that their bye week is this week, another mosquito has been hunting us. But
that's the count is now 2.
Yeah, the count is 2. Back to Johnson. The fact that they have their bye week, Tampa Bay does, this week is very good, allows him to rest. However, there is growing concern that he still won't be able to play, won't be ready to play when they get back into action next weekend. So we'll keep you updated, but Tyler Johnson is day-to-day and may not be back when they come back. Thomas Vanek sustained an ankle injury just before Sunday's game against Minnesota. Consider him day-to-day. It's sad because the resurging veteran has 14 goals and 36 points in just 43 games with Detroit this season, so hopefully he'll be back soon. We got next Andre Burakovsky. He injured his hand on Thursday the 9th against Detroit. Burakovsky has been fantastic for the Caps, providing 11 goals, 18 assists, 12 penalty minutes, 4 power play points, 85 shots on goal, and 30 hits so far in the season. Update as of today, which is Sunday the 12th, Burakovsky will be out until late March and early April, meaning he won't be available until the playoffs. But at least he'll be available for the playoffs. So keep that in mind. People have been dropping him left and right, but he is so good, and hopefully the Caps make the playoffs, that keep him keep an eye on him. Might want to pick him back up.
Yeah, he was in our starts last week.
He was playing well before this injury. Yeah. It's a bummer for the Caps. I mean, they're still scoring all those goals.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to be much issue about that.
I just realized a lot of these guys were in our starts. Tyler Johnson was in the starts. Burakovsky, and the next one on the injury list.
This one,
the Reapers,
really hurt. Matt
struck again.
Yeah, right.
It's not the starts list; it's the hit list. Just getting put on IR.
We might want to change it to that. Okay, so Douglas Murray's hit list next.
Douglas Murray, yes.
Matt Dumba. We talked about him last week on the Starts. He was playing amazingly for the Minnesota Wild, but he's out day-to-day with a lower body injury.
Did you get him, Bo?
I think so.
Okay, I'm just gonna finish this off while my two partners go ninja hunt some mosquitoes in the back. Matt Dumba's out day-to-day with a lower body injury. He did not play on Sunday the 12th against Detroit. So far, Dumba has 7 goals, 17 assists, a plus 24 rating, 43 penalty minutes, 8 power play points, 91 shots on goal, and 67 hits on the season. We will keep you updated, but it seems that he's not going to be out for too long. Lastly, we have a goalie, Jimmy Howard. He's still technically day-to-day with a minor knee injury. He was called up to Detroit on Friday the 10th and is expected to practice with the team on Monday. Hopefully, he'll be starting Wednesday versus the Blues. In the 2 games he played with the AHL Grand Rapids, however, his record was 1-1, allowing 6 goals total. So hopefully he can get back into game shape by next week.
Come on, Jimmy.
I mean, listen to this. Before the injury, he went 5-7-1 with a .934 save percentage and a 1.96 goals against average. So I'm not too worried. I think he just needs to get back into game shape. And he will really help the Red Wings come out of this little hole that they're in. But that does it for injuries. Let's move on to our next section. One of our favorites, actually, that we're bringing back this week. What is it, Eddie?
The Beauts!
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true.
And the Benders!
Do the bender. Do the bender. No, thank you. I said do it.
Those were not all mosquito kills, by the way. Just one of them. So, why don't I let you guys take over the Beauts and the Benders?
All right. Take over on mosquito killer duty.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Just stay vigilant for me. Watch my back as we go dive into these Beauts and Benders.
We really have to start doing like a camera feed of us because I'm just going to be walking around the back for a little bit. Just like smacking walls and stuff.
Sitting there on the
All right, sorry. Anyway, continue.
No problem. So I'll start out with a couple Beauts, if that's okay. Just going to Nick Backstrom. He was the #1 fantasy player this week. Tied for first in assists with 43 with McDavid. Tied in second overall points, 60. Tied with Sidney Crosby. And he's had 2 goals, 6 assists. He's been +3. He's had 4 penalty minutes, 3 power play points, 7 shots, and 4 hits
all
this past week.
Wow.
All in this week.
Real.
Cool.
Yeah. And Bo, you were telling me a crazy stat about them being out. The Washington Capitals at home.
Yeah, it's a crazy stat, but I kind of want to save it for a little something I have later. You know.
Okay. Keep them interested.
Yeah, I keep them guessing.
And kill skeeters. Going into the second one, we got Patrick Berglund. He got a hat trick this week, and it was at Montreal, not against Price. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Not against Carey Price.
But yeah, 5 goals +5, 1 power play point, 12 shots, and 9 hits on the week.
Nice.
Too shabby, and you may see him a
Berglund.
little bit later in the podcast.
Maybe.
You never know. Always keeping it interesting over here. But yeah, we have Jonathan Taves next. He's picked up his play as of late. He has 1 point. Oh, he's 1 point away from 600 points. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment right there.
Yeah, and then this week he had 1 goal, 5 assists, 3 power play points, and 14 shots. Want him to hit that 600 point mark next week, please. Marcus Johansson's the next one. Long John Johansson, #2 fantasy player this week. 4-game streak with a goal and assist in each game. That's pretty unreal. He had a 4-goal, 4-assist game last week where he was +4, had 3 power play points and 8 shots. That's really, really good, and we hope he keeps up that production.
That's a great week production right there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then this week, Patrick Kane actually got off his slump. He got a 5-game point streak on the Hawks' 5-game win streak, which is awesome.
Nice.
He's got 2 goals, 4 assists, 3 power play points, and 14 shots in that span. And that line has been really good as of late. The Panarin, Anisimov, Kane.
They've been asked to step up.
Finally. Yeah. Oh my God, it's been a struggle. But it's good to see them producing now, right? So next up, we got Nikita Zaitsev. He's been in our waiver section recently, but he's a surprising addition to the Beauts. Number 1 fantasy defenseman on the week, actually, with 1 goal, 3 assists, 2 power play points, 6 shots, and 19 hits.
Yeah. I honestly think that has to do a lot with a lot of defensemen underperforming this week. So, I mean, it's great to see him there, but it wasn't because he had the craziest week ever.
Yeah. Well, he also stepped up. I'll talk about it later. But he stepped up in the absence of his, D partner who was out for like 6 games, I think, 6 or 7 games. So
Riley,
he did a good job stepping up, but I think he deserved to be rewarded for holding the line for 6 or 7 games. So
good for him.
Congrats for
So now's your chance to get Burns for Zaitsev if you want. Totally plausible. Next up, we got Matt Niskanen, really awesome defenseman on the Capitals. Number 2 fantasy defenseman on the week. Number 1 fantasy defenseman of the month with 3 assists, plus 3, 2 power play points, 7 shots, and 12 hits in the past week. That's really awesome. Good for him. Capitals have just been doing great altogether.
I think if you're wearing a Capital sweater, your stats are very good.
You'd have great stats. Man, love them stats. Let's see. Ben Bishop, going to the goalies. Didn't think we'd see him here after Lightning been struggling so bad, but he's won his last 3 starts after losing 3 games before that streak. He got a shutout versus LA, which is pretty impressive, and so far he's got 2 wins, got a .05 goals against average.
0.5.
0.5, I was going to say that's very, very low, but 0.5 goals against average, 0.984 save percentage. That's pretty good. Next up, we got Jake Allen. He's on a 3-game win streak, allowing just 3 goals. Pretty good. 1 shutout at Ottawa with 30 saves. That's really good because playing in Ottawa is very difficult. And he's got 3 wins and 1 goal against average and a .967 save percentage this week. What a turnaround.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had him on our worst of the worst benders, I think, 2 weeks ago. Allen.
He was King Bender for a second.
He was King Bender for
King
more
Allen.
Yeah.
King Allen,
But
yes.
good for him. Hopefully he continues that because he's on our team in NHL 17.
Forgot about that.
So he's got to turn it around.
Turn it around for us.
But yeah, well, since we were speaking about previous benders, let's move on to the actual benders of this week.
Bender.
So we're going to start it off with a star that has not been shining so brightly. Anze Kopitar. He's gone cold recently after having a 5-game point streak with no points in his last 3 games and consecutive minus ratings in all 3 of those games. So, this week he was a -3 with 6 shots, 3 hits. That's not going to do it for a Kings team that desperately needs to make the playoffs. Next up, we have Mark Scheifele. So he's been having a good season as of late, but right now he's on a 4-game pointless streak, which is not something you usually expect from Scheifele. Yeah. He's been pretty consistent this season. But the big thing that jumps out here is he's on a -8 plus-minus this week. That's probably the bottom of the league this week, so that's not looking good for him. The Winnipeg Jets don't stand a chance if he continues to play like this. So the next Jet that I want to talk about is Patrick Laine. So this rookie, after playing so hot, being one of the top rookies of the season so far, has been struggling as of late, and his ice time is currently reflecting that. So I mean, it's tough for him, but this is a typical case of a rookie in a funk. It's not something that's going to last forever. He's an elite player as it is, and he should shake it off. It'll just be a little slump that's going to it'll be over and done soon enough. The next forward I want to talk about is Matt Duchene. He's just having a tough time in general. A -4 this week, only 4 shots, 2 hits. That's not going to do it for Colorado. That really needs all the help it can get. And honestly, it's not helping Colorado that his trade value is so low since he's playing as bad as he is. So that's not looking good. Oh, got him.
Did you save me?
Yep.
That was at my jugular.
Sorry. Right here.
It scared me so badly.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to say anything, but I spoke, it would give him away.
You guys can't see this, but I'm sitting here looking straight ahead at my computer screen, and all of a sudden these 2 giant hands come and almost end my life at my jugular. But in fact,
they were saving
they were saving my life. Could have gotten malaria. You don't know.
At the very least, your AIDS could have gotten malaria.
Bad.
totally
Bad.
awful. They
All
want
right, sorry, Bo.
That
Continue.
seems like a dangerous disease. Okay, so we're going to move on to defensemen. But as I said before, a lot of defensemen had a rough week. So I'm just going to name them all off for you because if I go into them, we'd be here the entire podcast. So
Yep.
Eric
It was a
Carl.
very bad week.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you their name and what their rank was in our fantasy scoring format. We had Eric Carlson. He was ranked 326 in standard fantasy scoring format. Oh, that was an epic smash if that happened.
Oh no!
Oh.
On the rebound!
On the rebound.
So we'll go back to another Skeeter update.
Yeah.
So Cam had one viciously circling around him, and it was hovering right near his computer. So, instead of doing the classic clap, he went for the computer clap and slammed his computer, obviously missing the Skeeter completely. But it
caught it off guard.
Yeah, it stunned him. The Skeeter didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
So Cam finished him off with a nice little clap. And that was the end of that.
Very nice.
Cameron used computer clothes. Mosquito was confused. Mosquito attacks itself in confusion.
I think death toll's up to 7 now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So if you never ever need any exterminators, Puck Buddy,
We may be starting a new
Podcast.
business.
We
after
have
this.
good hands.
it's the way we do it.
Our Skeeter killing business should be called soft hands.
I like it. Anyway,
We're getting very distracted.
Sorry.
So we'll get back to it. I'll just name the defensemen that are struggling: Eric Carlson, Dustin Bufflin, Mark Giordano, Torrey Krug. It's a rough week, so don't worry about them. They'll rebound. It's just one of those weeks for defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to some goalies. Carey Price is, this is really surprising that he's just been struggling as hard as he is.
The price is wrong.
It's been real wrong. He's only won 3 of his last 8 starts, allowing 21 goals. And he uncharacteristically... I'll speak proper English now.
Okay.
Recently, he has given up 4 goals in back-to-back games. That is very unlike Price.
Yeah.
So, that's not good.
As you said, it's very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, I can't even say the word right. It's that bad. All right, next goaltender, Peter Budaj. After winning 5 games in a row with 3 shutouts, has allowed 12 goals in his past 3 games. So, always regress back to the mean is kind of what we're seeing here. So, he'll hopefully turn it around, but this was, something that we wanted to address. Budaj, you got to kind of sell him high while he's high, because if Quick comes back and he's performing like this, Quick is taking that job back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, that's about wraps up our Benders and our Beauts.
Just want to say that Peter Budaj's
Great vacation
fantastic
spot.
Dubai adventure. No, Peter Dubai's record this week. I said it again. I'm going to remain 1 win.
He's forever Dubai.
4.52 goals against average and .840 save percentage is better than my record right now this week for my goalies against you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Should have just picked up Dubai.
Peter Dubai.
All right, so ending there.
Cool.
I guess we're moving on to those waivers.
To the wire!
You feeling hungry, Bo?
I'm real hungry.
Because I got you some Waivers Rancheros for you, right? Smear.
Tal vez no sea el mejor de los cocineros, pero te aseguro que vas a extrañar mis huevos rancheros.
All right, let's kick it off with some delicious Brandon Dubinsky. So this player is a center man and purely a center. So I know it's going to be a little tough finding a position or a spot for him on your roster because there's so many strong centers. Let me make an argument for him. He's only 18% owned, and he's had 3 multi-point games in his past 5 games. That's pretty good. In that span, he has 2 goals, 5 assists, +6, 10 penalty minutes, 10 shots on goal, 16 hits. Or his past 3 games. So his PDO has been on the rise and in his favor. It's at 102.2, and his shooting percentage has actually been extremely sustainable at 9.1, which was very surprising. But he's been centering a line with Cam Atkinson, not too shabby of a player right now, and Boone Jenner, which was actually the 6th most productive line this past week with 9 points. He sees 87.5% of the power play time. And he's gotten hot off the soft matchups that they had last week, and they should continue to see some points go their way, especially with their 4-game homestead. And Columbus is very good at home, so look to start him this week. And moving on, that was mine. We'll go right into my other one, the Bombinville, Jason.
Kaboom!
Yep, he's the right wing. He's 12% owned, and he's on the Hot Wild team right now. Since last week, Pominville has continued to shine as he has 2 goals and 7 points in 4 games. He now has points in 11 of 12 games with 3 goals and 12 assists in that span.
Nice.
He's been playing extremely well with his line mates Parise and Howla. His possession stats are even great as he has a PDO of 99.9, so he's just at that level, which is awesome. And he's shooting at an 8.4% clip. That's really good as well. He's hitting that 51 point pace on the season, which is fantasy relevant. And he's a player that should be owned with the numbers he's putting up. But I would look for him to continue the scoring ways with their 3-game homestead that they have this week. And while they're really, really good at home, so start them. And next, I'm going to do my last forward. We got someone that you may not expect, especially on Colorado. You might want to stay away from all these players, but Gabriel Landeskog, left wing, 68% owned. So the reason why I'm putting him up here is because he's been playing pretty well as of late. He only has 22 points on the season, and Colorado is god-awful. He's managed...
lightly.
But yeah, I'm putting it really lightly for you guys.
Very gentle.
But he's managed a 4-game point streak, even with, being on the Avalanche. And he's had 2 goals and 3 assists in that span, 13 shots on goal and 9 hits, which is pretty good. Lining up with the talented rookie Mikko Rantanen and the speedy Nathan McKinnon. That line has been the second most productive line this week with 13 points. He's been running with an affordable PDO of 96.7. That's actually really good, and it should continue to go up if he continues his hot play as of late. His shooting percentage is at 11%. That's also really good. And his Corsi is at 51.8, so they are handling the puck very well.
And to remind you guys, a good PDO number is below 100. That's like basically puck luck. If it's over 100, it means that the production they're getting might be based on lucky bounces that they're getting.
It's not as sustainable.
Exactly. Since he's at 96.7, the more lucky he gets, the higher the number gets, and the more goals will probably go in. Also, the Corsi, if you're above 50%, that's a good thing because you want to have the puck more than half of the time.
Yeah. So, it's looking really good. Thank you, Cam,
for
putting that
in case somebody was confused.
Into layman's terms. He's doing really well with the stats he's been putting up. He's actually on a 1.6 point per 60-minute pace, which is lower than his usual 2 plus points per 60 minutes, which he's had in his last 3 seasons. Landeskog or Duchesne will probably be shipped off at the trade deadline this year, so if he keeps playing really hot, he may be dropped into a playoff-bound team where his value will immediately rise.
Very good thing to think
about. So if he's on your waiver, I would definitely look to pick him up. He should continue riding hot as the Avs have a soft 3-game road trip coming up versus New Jersey, Buffalo, and Carolina, and then they're ending at home versus Tampa Bay, who's been on and off.
Okay.
So, look for Gabriel Landeskog on your wire and look to see if he continues to put up those points.
All right, I like it.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm going to move on to mine.
Thank you.
I have a couple here. First, I have Sam Reinhart of the Buffalo Sabres. He plays center and right wing. On Yahoo rankings, he's ranked 180th, and he's 29% owned. Reinhardt is finally coming into his 2014 second overall pick status with 12 goals, 23 assists, 14 power play points, and 120 shots on goal so far this season. In the past 5 games, Sam has 2 goals, 3 assists, 1 power play point, and 11 shots on goal, not counting Sunday's game today against Vancouver. His upcoming games this week are 66.66 repeating percent favorable.
How many sixes?
Repeating. And the 3 games are at Ottawa, and then versus Colorado, and then versus St. Louis. So for me, the first one is not as great because Anderson is back, and they will be in Ottawa. The second 2, home versus Colorado, and then St. Louis, I'm pretty comfortable with those odds because Sam now plays on the second line with Eichel and Kane, as well as the first power play unit. So if you have Sam Reinhart, play him. If you don't, and he is not owned in your league, you may want to pick him up. Next player for me is Michael Grabner. We've talked about him many times before, but he is continuing, so we will continue.
Yes.
He plays left wing / right wing. He's ranked 146th overall on Yahoo and is 54% owned with a 4% increase in the last week. Grabner's having a magical season. I don't know if there's any other word to describe it. With 26 goals, 10 assists, plus 28, and 123 shots on goal so far.
Not even in the top 6.
Yeah, well, listen
That's
to this.
unreal.
Although he doesn't see any power play time, and he's on the third line and has been most of the season, his line of Grabner, Miller, and Hayes, they've been the 15th most productive line in all of the NHL all season long, with 16 goals for and only 6 against. Having said that, being a very flexible winger at both left wing and right wing, and what he's bringing every night, that he doesn't seem to be stopping, that's why I put him on this list. Correct, he doesn't have any power play time like I think every single other person on this list, but he's not slowing down. So, Grabner...
Grab him.
Grab Grabner. Okay, my last one, you're going to say aha to Sebastian Aho.
Ooh.
That was so bad. Aho. Sebastian Aho.
Aho.
I think it's...
Aho.
Is it Aho? It's
What?
Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, it's
right?
Aho,
Okay,
yeah.
so Aho, left wing, right wing from Carolina. We talked about him much earlier on in the podcast, I think week 7 and 8. But we're back at it again. He's ranked 205th overall with 32% ownage, 2% in the last week. Aho is having a great rookie season with 17 goals, 15 assists, 9 power play points, and 137 shots on goal so far in 52 games.
Ooh.
In his last 5 games, Aho has 5 goals, including a hat trick, 1 assist, 3 power play points, and 19 shots. He's playing on the top line with Jordan Stahl and Elias Lindholm, as well as the second power play unit. So Aho was a great waiver pickup, especially in keeper leagues. I have high hopes for this kid's future. He kind of went under the radar at the beginning of the year, but I really think he is going to do great things in the next couple of years. And I will hand this off to you, Bo.
Aho for show. So I'm going to give you guys 2 forwards that I want to mention. The first one is another capital, the way that they've been playing. You got to mention this guy, Brett Connolly. So he's kind of an unknown name, I would feel like. He's a third liner on the Washington Capitals. I honestly didn't even know who he was until this season.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know who he is now is because he is on a 6-game point streak. So in those 6 games, he has 4 goals, 4 assists. He's a +7. He's got 11 shots and 7 hits. So those are some great numbers for a third liner. And, with the way the Capitals have been playing, so here's the stat that you were asking for earlier.
Yeah.
But the Capitals, in their last 10 home games, they scored over 5 goals in each one of those games. So it's been ridiculous. I'll give you the numbers right now. It went 6-5-5, 6-5, 6-5-5, 6-6. So that's unreal.
Ridiculous.
So
6 is more than 5.
yes,
So,
that's math.
wow.
I learned that a long time ago.
So
But it's pretty good because the Sharks only have 3 games where they scored 5 goals on the season, and they've already got, so many.
for sure over 10, probably close to 20 the way they've been playing. But pretty much moral of the story,
Pretty sure that's
anytime the Capitals are at home, you're starting all your Capitals.
Yeah.
That's a fact. It's got to happen. Otherwise, you're a fool. So, Brett Conley, I think he's a good pickup because they got games at home. He's been on a hot point streak, so it doesn't matter what line he's on or if he's not on a power play unit, but he's producing. That's all that matters. So
Could have just said he's on the Capitals and then moved on.
that would be the simple way to put it.
Capitals good. He's on Capitals. Okay, now.
He good now.
He good now. Yeah. Moving on.
So yes,
Yeah,
as you said, we'll move on.
Good stuff.
Next guy recently came back from injury and has made a major impact, and that's Kevin Hayes. So he's a center and right wing, currently 45% owned, so that's below the 50% waiver mark that we usually like to keep. And he's, he came back and he's played 3 games so far and has produced in each one of those 3 games. He's got a goal, 4 assists, +5, and he has 5 shots. So right now he's kind of rekindling this flame that he had with his previous line mates that you mentioned before, Michael Grabner, and the other one being JT Miller. So as we mentioned earlier in the season, this line can be really, really good. Their future on them is extremely bright, and the way that they're playing now just completely proves that.
And if you don't mind me interrupting really quick, I apologize. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about Grabner, how I said they were the 15th best line overall in the season out of any line in the NHL. Well, the past, I think it was 8 games, while Hayes has been out, they dropped to like 100 and something because they had someone else on that line filling in.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Hayes came back, they've started producing immediately. So this line is it's unreal.
Yeah,
cool.
and just to kind of back Cam up on that, Michael Grabner's on a 4-game point streak, JT Miller's on a 6-game point streak, and Kevin Hayes, since he's returned from injury, is on a 3-game point streak. So it just goes to show what they can do together.
Yeah.
And now that they're together, anything is possible.
Better together.
So that wraps up the fantasy forwards in
Yeah,
our
let me
waivers.
jump into defense, and we only have a couple to talk about here. We'll go through this really quickly. I want to mention people we've mentioned before today early in the podcast. First, Nikita Zaitsev. He's 14% owned. As I said before, he did a really honorable job picking up the slack while his D partner, Morgan Riley, was injured. He picked up 4 assists, 1 power play point, 9 shots on goal, and 13 hits in the span that Riley was gone. And while he still holds a spot on the second power play unit where Riley used to be, we'll keep you updated whether or not he holds on to that. Personally, we don't think he will, but you never know. Now, his partner, Morgan Riley, I'll just talk about really quick. He is 33% owned. He returned from injury on February 2nd, and since then has 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 penalty minutes, 1 power play point, 13 shots on goal, and 2 hits. Together with the rest of the season, that gives him 2 goals, 19 assists, 4 power play points, 104 shots, and 21 hits. Playing together with Zaitsev on the top pair is great, and he's just getting kind of back into game shape. I think once he has done that, maybe after a game or 2 in the future, he will return to the second power play spot. But once again, I will say that we will let you guys know next week whether or not they have switched.
So who would you pick between those two if you had to pick one?
Zaitsev is hotter just because he's been playing, and Riley's been injured, so I would do Riley. But if you can't get him, Zaitsev is a good 5th defenseman because you're going to be playing with Riley, and he's still technically on the power play for now. So for me, I'd try to go for Riley, Zaitsev as a secondary 5th defenseman.
Okay, good to know.
All right. I'm going to my defenseman, and we talked about this guy a lot just in the past week since we talked about him. He's up 12% ownage. And if you haven't picked this guy up or even looked at him, he's going to get you in trouble. He's going to get you in trouble. Jacob Trouba. Ooh. All right. Trouba has not slowed down since we talked about him last week. This past week, since we've been talking about him, he's had a goal and 2 assists, 14 shots on net in 3 games. He sees around 26 minutes a night and is hitting the 73. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Stop the podcast, quick! He's hitting a 37-point pace, which is really nice. It's good to see that he's putting up fantasy-relevant offensive stats along with his peripheral stats, which have always been fantasy-relevant. He's got the 5th most production last week for all D-men, and he's someone that you should still pick up. He's still on the wire for a lot of people because he's only 47% owned. But, yeah. Don't let him get you in trouble. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to move right into what?
Can I ask you a question, bro,
sure.
while you move on to this next goalie?
Sure.
So, we're kind of looking at goalies. We want to look at ones that do really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, how buck or crazy will this goalie make you go?
He would make me go sort of buck.
Just sort of.
He doesn't really live up to his last name as I would like to.
Yes, Connor Sortabuck.
Yeah, exactly. Connor Sortabuck is 40% owned, and if you come to Northern California, he'll be hella buck.
Instantly.
Yes.
That was a good transition.
Thank you.
I will give you that. That made me smile.
But yeah, he's going to get... So the reason why he's in the waivers this week is because Pavlik actually got injured, which is leaving the crease completely to Hellebuck, especially because Hutchinson got sent back down. He hasn't had the greatest stats. That's why he's like the sort of Hellebuck. But he's had a goals against average of 2.79 and a save percentage of 909. So, But his past 3 games, he had no wins, but he had a goal against average of 2.0 and a save percentage of 936. So it's more of his team around him kind of struggling. We were mentioning Scheifele and Laine not doing so well. They were in our benders this week. But he's going to get some for sure.
Too.
Oh, that's true. Bufflin too. So, that right there.
Yeah.
You can't really, it's hard to win games. He's doing his best. But the good thing is he's going to get some surefire starts in the coming week. And starting goalies are really tough to come by on the waiver. but be wary this week. The Jets have a scary week ahead as they'll be playing the top teams in the East. They have Pittsburgh, Montreal, and Ottawa all on the road. So if you can pick him up and he's on the wire, probably do it. Just if you need starts, don't start him this week unless you're like really ballsy and you really need some goalie wins or goalie like saves because he's gonna get a peppered this week, but just don't expect anything more than that.
Yeah. So he won't be going Hellebuck this week.
No.
But maybe next
I
week.
don't know. Incoming documentary-worthy road trip?
If he survives, they will definitely make a documentary about him. Okay, so yeah, that was my goalie pick.
All right, we got one more left. This is kind of just a on watch. You gotta, or not even on watch. Just you need to check. He might not be on your waiver wire, but if he is, he's a must pick up at this point, and that is Jake Allen. So he's 88% owned. So that's someone that's not usually on your wire. But if you've been following Jake Allen, he has been riding the struggle bus. He's probably been driving it, or he probably owns all struggle buses. Actually, is at this point.
He's a struggle bus distributor.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like a struggle bus for you, a struggle bus for you.
Oh, go pick up Goudreau. All aboard.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's been playing pretty bad, as you've noticed. That's why they fired Ken Hitchcock. He's a contributing reason to that.
I suppose.
Recently, since they've been with a coach, it's completely turned around. He's been playing extremely well. He's getting a lot of wins, and if he keeps up this play, then he's a must-own at all times. So if you see Jake Allen on your waiver wire, you got to pick him up. Just take that last second chance or check to see if he's there.
Take a chance too.
Yeah, you will definitely be taking a chance. So, with that being done, we have finished our waivers, and we are going to move on to a very important section, and that is our starts of the week.
Starts of the week.
Okay.
So who are we starting with over here, guys? Let's give us a center.
All right. So I'm going to go through mine. Honestly, not much to say about him because I went through him through waivers.
Okay.
Yeah, all I want to say is start Brandon Dubinsky again. Start most of
You
your...
just mentioned briefly.
I was going to say, start most of your Blue Jackets this week because of their 4-game homestead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this week, I just want to say, they have 4 home games, and they're against New York Rangers, Toronto, Pittsburgh, and Nashville. Those are some tough teams, but their home record is 16-7-4 with a win percentage of .700.
Yeah.
That's really good, and they're 7th in goals for at home with 58%.
Ooh.
Start your Blue Jackets. You're going to get some points.
And if
Start
you, like, I'm kind of worried about Pittsburgh, but if you saw the way that
They've lost
Arizona
to
beat them,
Arizona.
I mean, they may have a bounce back games this week, but
Okay, so yeah, going from Brandon Dubinsky, going straight into my next pick, Jack Mr. Eichel. And he's center. He's 91% owned. And a lot of people might think, why is he in your start of the week? Isn't he an auto start? But a lot of people have been sitting him, and I'm going to tell you why.
Because the center is very strong.
Exactly. Among all the quality centers in the NHL, Jack Eichel still remains one of the upcoming elites. But if you're looking at his numbers right now, they're not looking so hot. He only has 29 points on the season, and he's ranked 228th overall. But keep in mind, he was out for the first half of the season. So all these points came in 35 games. Since returning from injury, he's been hitting a 51-point pace at a .83 point per game pace. He has been shooting at a nice 9.3%, which is very sustainable, and his PDO is exactly at 100, which is very nice. Recently, he's been heating up, and he's been getting 3 multi-point games in his last 5 matchups, devouring 7 apples in that span. This week, the Sabres have a nice 3-game homestead after their matchup in Ottawa, where they'll face Colorado, St. Louis, and Chicago at home. Their home record is very favorable at a 13-9-4 and a .56% win rate.
in case you didn't know, eating an apple means getting an assist. A assist apple.
Yeah. A begins apple. Okay. So yeah. So Jack Eichel is one of the elites. Start him for God's sakes, and start him at home especially. I've made the mistake of sitting him at home. I've made the mistake of sitting him in general. Mm-hmm. But yeah, start Jack Eichel. Start his line mates. They're gonna be on fire.
So as Eddie learns from his mistakes over here,
Lots of mistakes.
I'm going to give you a center along with his winger, because this line right here has been really well as of late. They are the top 10 are in the top 10 of NHL line production this season, which is kind of surprising when you first look at the line. And that's the line with Michael Backlund and Matthew Tkachuk. And they also have Frolik on the line as well. But I'm going to focus on these two guys, Backlund and Tkachuk.
Kachuk.
Tkachuk.
One day you'll find out that that's silent.
No. I speak American over here.
American, yeah. Tkachuk.
So this line, obviously the way they're playing is the best line in Calgary right now. You would think Gaudreau and Monahan, going into the season, they got to be the top line. Well, they're not.
They're not?
Yeah, as of recently, Backlund is on a 3-game point streak, a goal, 3 assists. He's got some power play points. He's got some pluses, and his shots are looking good. And he has honestly been the second best fantasy forward on Calgary. And so you might ask, who's the first best fantasy forward?
Who is the best fantasy?
Well, that's the Tjuckadactyl. And he's been playing well as of late with a goal and 2 assists in his past 2 games, and he is the best fantasy player, as I said, on the Calgary Flames, giving you all the stats. He is top 3 in goals, assists, plus minus, penalty minutes, and power play points for his team.
He'd be a great keeper league ad.
Yeah,
whoever has him.
If you were doing keeper league, he's something I would even trade for. Like he's a good key addition. He's making his father extremely proud. So Matthew Tkachuk, Michael Backlund are going to be great starts because they're playing at home versus Arizona, at home versus Philly, and they're going to Vancouver. Those are great matchups for that line. So start them.
Woo. Cool. Well, I'm going to go into someone else who I believe is an automatic keeper league keeper.
Oh, yeah.
Has really impressed me. So this is Mitchell Marner. He is on Toronto. He plays center and right wing, which for me is like, I can't even imagine. It's the best thing possible. Only thing better is when you can play all 3 forward positions. Now, he is ranked 57th on Yahoo and is 75% owned as a rookie. Marner has been awesome in his first year in the NHL. What was supposed to be the year of the Matthews. Marner has 15 goals, 32 assists, 28 penalty minutes, 15 power play points, 139 shots on goal, and 32 hits. Which, if you do the math, gives Marner 47 points compared to Austin Matthews 44 points.
What?
Yeah, right. So Marner is outperforming Austin Matthews to this point. This week, the Leafs will play 4 games versus the Islanders at home, and then they go to Columbus, then back home versus Ottawa, and then go face Carolina in Carolina. I expect Marner to produce on probably all these games. In his past 7 games, he has 4 goals, 4 assists, 2 power play points, 23 shots, and 8 hits. So he just keeps going. He literally, when I look at him, I think of like the Energizer Bunny. Like he's this skinny little white kid.
Just clapping his hands like
he just keeps going. His legs just keep going.
He powers past defense.
I know.
Man. He's very strong on his feet.
Man.
It's awesome to watch him though.
Right?
Yeah. So
okay.
Awesome.
So let me just move into the next position, left wing, and I'm going to talk about someone who is basically the complete opposite of Mitchell Marner.
Everyone.
Okay, so this player is a left wing only. He plays for the Stars, and his name is Antoine Roussel. He is 21% owned, yet he's ranked 138th on Yahoo, so people need to start paying attention.
It's not bad.
Roussel is going to be a great start this week. As the Stars get ready to face Winnipeg and Minnesota on the road and then Tampa Bay at home, you're thinking, well, those aren't fantastic matchups, especially Minnesota. Well, the thing about Roussel is he's not about the goals and the assists, although he does put a few of them up. So far in the season, Roussel has 8 goals and 13 assists. Not bad. But he has 111 penalty minutes so far, 3 power play points, 64 shots, and 64 hits. So
it's his second home.
Roussel really, his penalty minutes, they speak for themselves. I mean, you're going to win every week with penalty minutes if you have him and one other person that does penalties. And he's also scoring. So Roussel, for me, is kind of an under-the-radar pickup. What sucks is he only plays left wing, but as your very last forward position, to give that many penalty minutes, no-brainer for me.
Yeah. He's a good one for sure. Just imagine how many hits and stuff he would have had if he wasn't in the penalty box.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Oh really?
And I think tonight today we were watching the game. I think he already had like 5. Yeah, because he fought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 7 minutes then already.
Yeah.
So it's just like
just getting in there.
Yeah.
That's
nice. But anyway, that's my lefty.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a lefty right here. who is actually our new favorite rap group, right?
Yeah.
I think as we established last show. And that's K-Units.
K-Units.
So they're going platinum this week with their second appearance in the starts of the week. And I mean,
Yes.
Chris Kunitz, for those who don't listen to this rap group as much, has been having a great success with his first week on Crosby's line with 2 goals and 2 assists, while producing a close to average of 3 shots and 3 hits a game.
Pretty good.
So that's real nice. And I'm just saying, as long as K-Units is performing with his lead rapper and currently man on the moon, Kid Crosby, he is a must start because he provides all the stats you need. And when he has matchups against Vancouver, Winnipeg, at Columbus, and they're playing at home versus Detroit after that, those are 4 great matchups. I mean, you can't do anything wrong with him right now. So
Yeah.
Chris Kunitz is a great start. I'm going to give you another quick name, and that's, yes. No, keep on going.
Yo ho.
Start Johansson this week.
So wait, were you
Yes.
like if Santa Claus went rebel?
That's why I stopped. I was like, but then,
Santa Claus went rogue. I'm gonna make that movie.
That-
Santa Claus is gonna become a pirate. It's like he and Somali pirates are his elves, and he's just
Somali
gonna,
pirates.
He's gonna take over the
That
hose.
was
South China
Yeah.
Sea.
That was mine and Eddie's fail attempt at Cam's great song that he created. So yeah, Long John Johansson. He was in our Beauts, and with good reason. He has a goal and assist in 4 games in a row, with 3 power play points in a row. And he's currently playing on the first power play unit with Ovechkin and Backstrom. So, he's an automatic start in my opinion, even though he only has 2 games against Detroit and New York Rangers, both on the road. So, I mean, it sucks that he's only playing 2 games this week, but with those 2 matchups, you have to start him.
Yeah, agreed. I'm going to quickly go into my left wing pick of the week. Got the Schwartz is strong with this one. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Jaden Schwartz. He's 55% owned. And after being skunked for 4 games, Schwartz has been preheating the oven as of late with 3 apples in 2 games. He sports a nice Corsi 4 percentage of 51.8 and a PDO of 101.7 and has a shooting percentage of 12.9. All these stats are very high, which can be good or bad, but let me tell you why I think it's a good thing. He's 5th in points for Blues, and he mans the top power play unit and sees around 50 or plus % of the all power play time. So he has great upside for a player on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues. He has 2 seasons where he's plotted 50 plus points and is currently on pace for 53 points this season. And this week, the Blues have a nice schedule with Detroit, Vancouver, and Buffalo. So in general, just start your Blues, but I think Jaden Schwartz will have a week this week, so keep an eye out for him. Next on my list, I'm going to move right into our right wingers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going right.
Yeah.
We're going to the right.
To the right, to the right. Maybe I got to find my guy to the right.
Look to the right, Eddie.
Look to the right.
So I got the Bowmanville. Talked about him earlier, of course. Just want to reiterate the fact that Minnesota is going to have a 3-game homestand this week, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's all
That's
really you
all.
have to say.
Start all your wild
He's
players.
just, once again, we're on terrorist alert.
Yeah.
Bowmanville is in full force.
Yeah, right.
You got it.
You just gotta say we have to mention it because it's for safety reasons.
It's for say, yeah.
For safety, you gotta play the Palm.
It's a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Watch out for Jason Bowmanville. He's going to be Bowmanville. So thank you. Yeah, going right on.
Yeah, I'll just go really quick in mine.
Yeah.
David Perron for the Blues. He plays left wing and right wing, but I'm putting him in the right wing position today. He's ranked 133 on Yahoo, but is only 14% owned. He's a very flexible winger, as I said earlier. He has put up 12 goals, 20 assists, 46 penalty minutes, 9 power play points, 105 shots, and 61 hits on the season so far. The Blues, as we said before, will play 3 games this week. At Detroit versus Vancouver, and then at Buffalo. As Perron has been heating up in the past 4 games with 1 goal and 4 assists, I expect him to continue this into the week, especially against Detroit and Vancouver.
He should be stepping it up with Fabry gone. He's the next one to fill his
They
shoes.
need him too, so.
Yeah.
Play Schwartz too. All right, moving on.
All right, so my right winger is similar to Cam's in the fact that he's a left and right winger, so you got options at both positions there. But he's actually a Minnesota player. And so as you know, a Minnesota player always seems to pop up in our starts of the week with
Always.
good reason because as we mentioned before, this is a flaming carousel, and the burning horse that I'm gonna enforce this week is Nino Niederreiter.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna you honestly can't go wrong with any of these wild players, but I'm definitely riding Nino Niederreiter in his 4-game point streak. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists. He's a +3, 2 power play points, 12 shots. And he's honestly been the best Wild fantasy player over the last month. He was number 1 overall the Wild fantasy players, which, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Being that...
Wish someone would have picked him up off the waiver wire.
What?
As we all look at Cameron.
Yeah. He picked up Nino Niederreiter off the waiver wire. And he's been killing it.
I picked it up literally exactly a month ago. And then he got
hot. He's the star player of the month.
Okay, so I was hovering over, do I do Koivu or do I do Niederreiter?
He just has more.
And I was like, Nino's first name is so much better.
Nino.
Nico's
pretty cool.
Yeah, but nah. Nico.
But nah.
No, I just Niederreiter was younger, and I thought, whatever. Koivu would have been a great pick no matter what.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with how Niederreiter is performing. So
love that nickname he's been getting to El Nino.
I know. Oh, he's had that for
he's having that big storm coming in.
He had it forever, but he never lived up to it.
Yeah.
Until this season. Yeah.
He always made a big storm and then just died quick.
Yeah.
Just left everything in ruins. But now he's actually sustaining it. And so
it's wreaking havoc.
What are you going to do about Katrina? We're going to find her. Gonna bring her to justice.
Get El Nino on the phone. But that's awesome, yeah.
So yeah, he's a great start.
Yeah.
He's got 3 home games as we mentioned before, and their home record is 18-6-1. I'm not worried who they're playing, so I'm not even going to tell you.
Yeah. You should start Palmerville too. But literally start all your Wild players: Parise, Howla, Zucker, Coyle.
Are there any
I would literally
Wild
start
players
all those.
Playing poorly?
No, I wouldn't play all those players, honestly, especially in their home games.
I don't think any of them are negative in the plus-minus category. I don't think.
No.
There's not much thinking to do with the Wild players, so that's what we're saying here.
Yeah.
All right.
So pretty awesome.
All right, let's finish up quickly with some defense and goalies here, huh?
Yep.
Let's do it. So my defenseman, Colton Parayko, as I continue to butcher his name because it looks like Parayko.
Parayko.
But it's Parayko. And, he's not a bad option. It's kind of tough to fully endorse him because he's a third-line defenseman. But, he was a rookie last year going into his sophomore season right now, and the Blues are kind of letting him develop. And, as they let him develop, he continues to show a lot of promise, and they're going to need him to continue to play at the soon-to-be elite level because they are currently shopping Kevin Shattenkirk like no other. Mm-hmm. So there's a great chance that he's going to be leaving over the next couple of weeks before the trade deadline. So
that'll make his value really go up. Him and Pietrangelo will both.
So I'm considering him a start this week, but I also consider him a trade-worthy person, someone you can buy. So right now, he's only 7 points away from passing his rookie season point total of 27 points. So it's something he can totally do this season. I guarantee you he will do it. So
yeah, and I want to just point out I had Parayko from the very beginning of the season, and I picked him up right away off the waiver wire, and he did not perform for me the way I wanted. So I dropped him after about 4 weeks, and then he started picking up his production.
I picked him up.
So all of these points are actually very recent. So his value is very high right now. So everything you said is correct. I just wanted to give more value to that.
That's some good insight. And those points will continue to go up because his next 3 games are the easiest matchups I've seen. At Detroit, then they're playing at home versus Vancouver, and then at Buffalo. He's got to get some points.
That's marshmallow soft for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, let me talk about my D-man real quick. Dion Phaneuf, a personal favorite of mine because he was always, the punching bag for Maple Leafs, and he took it so well. So I literally I just have so much respect for him because he did take it like a champ. But now that he's on Ottawa, he's doing much better. He's actually ranked 107th overall on Yahoo Fantasy. He's picking up his production as of late. The past 2 games, he has 1 goal, 1 assist, +2, 7 penalty minutes, 2 shots, and 5 hits. On the season as a whole, he has 7 goals, 15 assists, 70 penalty minutes, 11 power play points, 109 shots, and 91 hits. This week, Ottawa plays 4 games with solid matchups at home versus Buffalo, and then away at New Jersey, away at Toronto, and then back home versus Winnipeg. Phaneuf plays on the second D pair and the second power play unit, so I really hope he can continue this mini point streak. But I say play him because his matchups are very, very good.
All right, I'm going to move right into mine. And I have Ivan Provorov here, but I also want to kind of share the time slot with Shane Gostisbehere just because they're on the same team. Both D-men, Ivan Provorov is 22% owned, Gostisbehere 77% owned. Now, Provorov has been really great for the Flyers this year. He's a rookie, of course, so this is his first year in the big leagues. But he's been great stepping in the shoes of Gostisbehere, who's been pretty much a ghost, hasn't been around, and hasn't produced very many points.
I heard he's pretty transparent on the ice. Like, they just see the puck moving, and they have no idea what's
Actually,
going
they
on.
don't.
That's
the press
why.
box.
Yes. He's been really, oh God, it's been awful because I was an owner of him for a while. But Provorov only has one goal.
I convinced Eddie to trade someone for Gostisbehere. I just want to point that out.
Anyway, I wonder what was that?
Like,
Did anyone else
ghost,
hear
right?
that? Yeah.
That must have been a ghost.
Ghost Bear? Okay. He only has one goal or 1 point in his past 8 games, but he continually fires the puck in that span where he has 20 shots on goal in that time. He sees time on the second power play unit and oftentimes has been plugged into the top player play when Gostisbehere has struggled, which is a lot. He also is on the ice a lot as he sees 22 minutes a night or more. Now, Gostisbehere has been borderline droppable after being scratched for 3 straight games. He's burned his owners and left them with no aloe.
Rude.
I know. He's been watching the games, or even watching the games. I mean, we watched the game the other day. He looked really shaky. He looked apprehensive, and he looked really desperate. The plays he was making,
And he was making dirty hits.
not safe,
and
not smart.
I know, like stuff that's going to put his team in a position to lose.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
It was rough watching him, honestly. So he's managed an assist and a nice 5-on-5 shooting percentage of 4.68 since returning from his 3-day trip to the press box. And that shooting percentage is really nice for a defenseman, honestly. He's been shooting it from the blue line kind of regularly. But if you've held on to him this long, this is the week to play him. They're looking for him to step up, and Provorov as well. And hopefully he can get back on track with a vacation to the Great White North. The Flyers have been doing okay as of late, and their road trip this week is to Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. And their road, Corsi, is 10th in the NHL, so they'll have the puck a lot. And so hopefully they'll be shooting a lot too. And that's why I'm hoping Provorov and Gostisbehere will get their value back in. So we'll see. He might be in the Benders next week. He might be in the drops list next week. But if you've held on to Gostisbehere this long, just start him. Next up, I'm going to go into the last category. We got our goalies. And I'm going to go with Craig Anderson. 75% owned still. But first game back, he just put up a shutout. Real simple. Play him from here on out if you have him. And that's pretty much all I want to say about Craig Anderson. Their schedule this week is like soft serve because they have Buffalo, New Jersey, Toronto, and Winnipeg. So
Delicious.
It's so delicious. Please start Craig Anderson. That's all I'm going to say about him.
That's tasty right there. So my goalie is someone that I already mentioned before, and that's Jake Allen. He's completely turned it around as of late. And his coach, Yayo, has full confidence in him right now. Because the Blues are giving him 5 out of the last 6 starts since Coach Yayo has taken over. And in those 5 starts, he has won 4 of those games, only allowing 7 goals. And he had a shutout against Ottawa, which is no pushover.
That's pretty good.
And the best of all is he's been over a .900 save percentage in all of those 5 games, which was something that you never saw out of Jake Allen a couple games ago. So the way that he's playing right now in his current 3-game win streak with the 3 wins, 1 goal against, and a .967 save percentage, I don't know why you wouldn't start him. The Blues are playing better under new coach Yayo. Keep on saying that as much as I can. So I'm fully confident starting him, just like their coaches. Yayo. So please do the same.
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'm going to finish it off here with a goaltending duo tandem that we have talked about multiple times, and that's Steve Mason and Michael Neuwirth. So they both have been very inconsistent all season long. In his last 2 starts, Mason's allowed 8 goals with a combined 4.07 goals against average and a .861 save percentage, while Neuwirth has actually been rather good. going 3-2 in his last 5 with a 1.21 goals against average and a .939 save percentage. As the Flyers play 3 away games this week against Calgary, Edmonton, and then Vancouver, I expect Waivers to start at least 2 of them. If Mason does start one, cross your fingers and hope that 5 do not go in the first period like last week. Okay, that does it. For the Puck Buddy Podcast, we will see you next time.
We got a game to go to, boys.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys turn to a channel, it doesn't exist because we're not good enough.
Set your lineups this week. Good luck.
Sing a